everyone, my name is Michelle and in today's lesson I will be explaining to you what exactly happens in the IELTS speaking test and the type of questions you are asked. Whether you're taking the IELTS academic exam or the IELTS general training exam, the speaking test is the exact same for both exams. The IELTS speaking test is a one-to-one conversation with you and the examiner. It is basically an interview whereby the interviewer will ask you a series of questions. The test takes 11 to 14 minutes and is recorded. There are 3 parts to the speaking test. In part 1, the examiner introduces himself or herself and checks your name. Then the examiner asks you a series of questions about yourself, your family, your work, what you study, your friends and your hobbies. The types of questions you will be asked are: where are you from? Describe yourself. Tell me about your family. Why are you studying English? Part 1 usually lasts about 4 to 5 minutes and is the easiest part of the test. In part 2 of the speaking test, the examiner will give you a written task card which will ask you to speak about a particular topic and include points that you must include in your talk. You will get 1 minute to prepare your talk before you have to speak. You will then speak for 1 to 2 minutes, and after this, your examiner will ask you 1 or 2 questions. In this task card, you are asked to talk about a subject you are studying, and underneath it are 4 points that they would like you to include in your talk on the topic. What subject are you studying? What is the subject about? How do you feel about it? And explain why you are interested in it. Part 2 of the speaking test usually takes about 3 to 4 minutes, and this includes your minute to prepare. Part 2 is harder than part 1 as it tests your ability to talk about a particular topic, develop your ideas about this topic, as well as testing your ability to use relevant grammar and vocabulary in expressing your opinion. Then you will have part 3, which is the final part of the speaking test. In part 3, the examiner will ask you questions linked to the topic you spoke about in part 2. The types of questions you may be asked based on the example task card in this lesson are: what are the pros and cons of the current education system in your country? Do you think students respect their teachers? And how would you like to change the education system? Part 3 is a two-way discussion between you and the examiner, but you are expected to do most of the speaking. My top tips for the speaking test are to give a friend a list of exam-style questions and get them to ask you questions that come up in the speaking test. Number 2, keep eye contact with the examiner. You are having a conversation with someone, so looking at them when you are speaking to them is very important. Number 3, be confident. If you think you are going to do well, then you will do well. Try not to get nervous as you only have 12 minutes to show the examiner that you are well able to speak English. Before you go in to do your speaking test, tell yourself, I can do this. Number 4, expand your answers. Don't give one-word answers such as yes or no. You have 12 minutes to prove to the examiner that you are well able to speak English. The examiner can only assess your speaking for that 12-minute period, so speak as much as you can. Number 5, instead of responding to every question with yes or no, use expressions like in my opinion or I really feel. Number 6, practice. I have attached a document called IELTS Speaking Test Questions to this lecture. Print off the questions and prepare answers to these common questions that are asked in the speaking test. The more you practice, the more confident you will become and the stronger you will be on the day of your speaking test. In the next lesson, I will show you a video of what happens in a real IELTS speaking test so that you can see the types of answers you would be expected to give to achieve a band score of 9. See you in the next lesson.